Hi, my name is Virginia Lily Bench, and I am the first official president of the Friends of the Morgan Hill Library. And the reason I say official is because the Friends had book sales for a few years before I became the president, but it wasn't official because we didn't have an IRS tax exempt status. And when I became involved with the library, I felt that more people would give contributions of books because they could deduct it from their income tax. I became involved with the library when it was over on the old Nob Hill, and the library was a storefront. And it was very easy for me to shop, go to the library, and leave my children there. I became familiar and acquainted with the staff and the librarians, and then they moved over to the location where it is now. And we went to the library many, many times, and of course, being an active volunteer in everything, I decided what could I do to help the library, and the Friends was one of the first things. Carol Jesh was the head librarian at that time, and her and I got together and decided we could do something that would be an active thing to help the community and the library, because of course with budget limitations all the time, there were things that the library needed that were not in the budget. So we got together and decided to do something about it. The tax exempt status was very important to us because we figured that other organizations would be able to give us donations. I am not one for paperwork, and the IRS, as any of you know who have had any dealings with our good old Internal Revenue Service, just blows your mind. But lucky for me, my next door neighbor was an attorney, Albert T. Vogel, and bless his heart, he did all the paperwork for us, and he got our tax exempt status. And then we could send out letters to various businesses, corporations in town, and they were very happy to send us donations. When we did our book sale, the first book sale, we made $400. Well, that was really great. We were so excited about it because we didn't think we would ever make that much money. And it was just held in one room, and all the sorting was done. Just put the books on the table. Anybody could come and just get the books. We were just glad to have that done. Later, as we became more sophisticated, we decided to separate the books a little bit more. We had children books, and then we started going into reference material. We had fiction, nonfiction, and I'm a sci-fi fan, so then I knew all the sci-fi authors, so I would put all the sci-fi together, and I could direct people there. We also had a lot of active people in the community help, like the Boy Scouts and the 4-H'ers. People who read don't just buy one book at a book sale. They buy bags of books. Well, books are heavy. So we would ask these young people to come and carry the books out for these people. So when you got a bag of books, we would whistle for one of these kids, and off they'd come and carry a bag of books to the car, and then we're ready for the next sale. Our early sales were held in front of the library, and oh boy, that was a busy day. We would get up early, and all the books from the library would have to be carried out in these big boxes. So you'd grab every man, woman, and child in your family who had a strong back, because a lot of our members, which at that time were about 25 to 30, were inactive members. So you had to get people with big, strong backs to carry those books out, unload them, put them up on the tables. I would run down to O. Henry's and get donuts and coffee, and we would serve donuts and coffee to the friends who were there while we did our book sale. And it was an all-day affair. And then after the sale was over, of course, then there was another job. You just didn't get up and go home. You had to pack up all the books. And Carol Jesh at that time made arrangements with the head librarian of Santa Clara County, and they would come down and take the books and store them in their warehouse so that when they had their book sale, they would use our books so they didn't go to waste. We would have meetings with the librarians to find out what was needed in the library from our big sales. I mean, $400, that was a lot of money 35 years ago. And I remember buying things like, we had a big bulletin board where people could post notices of what was going on in the community. We bought some bean bags. At that time, the library is a vibrant part of our community. It keeps up with all the new technology. At that time, records were a big thing. So we had the record players with the earphones so people could listen to the records. That was a real big deal. So we provided that for the community. Another project that we did was the microfilming of the Morgan Hill Times. The Morgan Hill Times was a very old newspaper, and you need to preserve part of the heritage of your community. So we voted on it and decided we would have it microfilmed. We got the permission from the Morgan Hill Times to go up into their attic and look at the newspapers. Oh my gosh, the papers were dry, crackly, and the microfilm company would prepare the newspapers. They had to be film ready. So all these crackly things, they would be happy to do it, but at a price. Well, of course, with a little amount of money that we made, we couldn't afford that. So Carol and I would go up in that hot attic, spend 2 hours at a time, taping all the papers together to get them microfilm ready, and then she would take them up to San Jose to get them ready to be microfilmed. That was a really big project, and the old Morgan Hill Times was so neat to read. It wasn't like it is today, like a real newspaper. It would have things like Susie Jones had a slumber party last night, and there were 6 girls, and it would name all the girls. Or Mary Smith had her birthday party, and it would list all the kids in the birthday party and what they did, and they went swimming, and they had cake and ice cream. And you could see the whole history of this little town as it grew and progressed. In fact, when I graduated from Gavilan College, a friend of mine wrote a little blurb about the party I had for my family and friends, and that went into the Morgan Hill Times too. So it was really neat to have all this on a microfilm for posterity. I love the Friends of the Morgan Hill Library, and I think you will too. Thank you.